Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're talking about The Batman, the latest Batman reboot, whatever you want to call it. It's the new Batman movie.
We're talking about the Batman?
Yeah, the Batman.
Not the Fat Man?
Not the Fat Man, no.
No, it's not. This ain't the Chris Farley story?
No.
It's not the Orson Welles story?
No.
Oh.
It's not even the Kevin Smith story. No.
Shit, I watched the wrong movie.
Well, this is going to be an interesting vlog. Anyway, so The Batman, it is a new continuity for the Batman series brought to you by director Matt Reeves, the director of such things as Cloverfield, Let Me In, War of the Planet of the Apes, and and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is his take on The Batman. I'm just gonna say this right out of the gate. This is my favorite Batman movie now.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's fighting for the second slot.
Yeah, fair.
It's fighting for this number 2 slot.
There's some good Batman movies out there.
Yeah.
But
like, just to let you know, look, I'm a guy from the 80s. I really like that first Michael Keaton Batman, okay? I really like it. I wouldn't even say that this movie is better or worse than it. I just got my preferences.
That's fair.
However, I will say I did kind of like it more than Dark Knight, which was the old number 2.
Yeah, that was my old number 1, and now it's number 2. This movie is fantastic. It's one of the most well-written Batman movies I have ever seen.
I think it's the most well-written.
Absolutely. Like, it's actually Batman being a detective.
Yes.
And trying to solve the mysteries that are left behind by the Riddler, as well as other shit that just happens to be happening along the same time.
Don't worry, he still beats people up, still chases people in cars.
Oh, yeah.
He still uses the grappling hook. You know, there's plenty of action.
But this is way more Batman as film noir. Right down to the fact that they bring in some of the old Frank Miller style voiceovers that Batman used to have in some of the comics.
Yeah, when Frank Miller would write him.
Yep.
Like back when that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, it was really cool.
The other thing I liked is the fact that I got that they stole the overall look of Batman from the first season of the animated show in the 90s, because the sky's always red.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I can totally see that. There's also, this is the Riddler, but it's the Riddler done by way of the Zodiac Killer, a little bit of the Unabomber, and a little bit of John Doe from Seven.
Yeah. He's
kind of like an amalgamation of all those things. And there's even points where when he's not in the Riddler outfit, where he kind of looks a little bit like Dahmer. So he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. This is the thing I liked about this was, in order to make this plot work, the Riddler pretty much did have to be masked.
Yeah.
He had to be something of an unknown.
Because you're trying to figure out who is the Riddler, what's his game, what's going on, why does he care? There's all these millions of things, because he's obviously got some sort of grand plan, and it's all about figuring out that grand plan, the scope of the plan, and why.
Dude, and the scope of the plan is nuts.
Oh yeah, it's like
fucking nuts.
It's like on the level of the Joker's plan from The Dark Knight.
I would actually say it was on par with like fucking Ra's al Ghul's plan for Batman Begins.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah,
you know,
like, on par with that. Yeah,
shit.
You're not wrong. You know? You're totally not wrong.
Yeah, you think this is gonna be just about killing some people, and then you get to the point where the Riddler reveals his plan, which happens really late in the movie, and you're like, what?
Now, this isn't the first time we've vlogged a movie that's outside of our purview, but I will argue that this movie's actually more in our purview than usual when we do that, because much like the recent Joker movie, there's a lot of horror in this movie.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of horror elements. I'm still amazed that it's a PG-13.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know, like you find yourself like, dude, this one's probably got the highest body count of any Batman
It is
movie.
Not only the grimmest Batman movie made yet, live action anyway. The grimmest live action Batman movie. It is the most brutal in terms of like stuff. And that's saying a lot, because like Zack Snyder made his Batman pretty brutal in like Batman v Superman. And this Batman, I would say he gives people some beatdowns and you go like, whoa, dude, he just pointed a gun at you.
Yeah,
You find yourself saying that.
Yeah. Like, well, this is like Batman, like year 3.
Yeah.
He's got some experience under his belt, but he's not quite the Batman we all know and love just yet. He's still a little green under the gills, still trying to figure himself out.
Yeah, this is a really broken Batman in his early years. Like Jack's saying.
Definitely.
One who has not quite figured out everything yet. So it's kind of like Batman Begins in that way, where he's kind of figuring out how to be Batman and what Batman means.
Yeah, this one also really gets to like, has this idea that part of Batman's aloofness is actually the fact that he's horrifically fear of intimacy.
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
Fear of intimacy.
An understandable fear.
Oh
of
yeah,
intimacy,
very understandable.
You know, brought on by dead parents.
yeah. But it was kind of interesting because I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of times when everyone's reacting to him like they're afraid of him, but really he's just sitting there and thinking.
This is the first Batman movie since the Keaton Batman movie, the first Keaton Batman movie anyway. The second one's a little bit of a different story. I love the second one. It's my favorite of the Keaton ones. But the first Keaton Batman movie is the one time where I felt the criminal's fear of Batman.
Yeah.
You know, they tried to do that a little bit in Batman Begins, but I didn't really feel it in the same way I did with Keaton.
No, because they got that great scene in the beginning where it's like, there ain't no bat.
Yeah.
You know, and then Batman shows up. What are you? I'm Batman.
This movie really hammers home like why they're terrified of him.
Oh yeah,
and it's a really interesting balancing act too, because they're showing you exactly why everyone on the street is terrified of him, while also showing you how kind of pathetic he is behind the scenes.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, how broken, how sad, how goth and emo he kind of is.
Yeah. And it also makes it starts to do that thing where it's like, oh, the hero and the villain are not so different.
Yeah.
But what I liked is by the time you get to the end of it, they actually answer that question. It's like, what is the difference between Batman and the Riddler?
He was like, when he takes his costume off, he's like Eric Draven, the Crow, without the charisma.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You just sort of like, oh, Bruce Wayne, you're just kind of normal white guy.
Boy.
Yeah, sad white boy. You know, that's just all you are.
Sad, awkward boy. That's the other thing I like about this movie. This movie is the first movie in the live action sense that kind of captured something that happens a lot in the animated series of Batman. The 90s animated series, as well as like all the tie-in stuff to that. Where Batman is like socially awkward, talking with people normally when he's in the Batman outfit.
Yeah.
And this movie kind of captured that. Batman is like, he's intimidating, he's scary, but man, he does not know how to talk to people, especially when he's dressed as Batman.
Yeah.
He has no idea.
I for some reason, I actually really like the fact that Bruce Wayne in this one wasn't cool.
Yeah, I like that.
He's not cool at
Batman's
all.
cool as
Batman's
hell.
Cool, yeah.
But Bruce Wayne, like, he's a fucking, like, sad dork. You know?
Oh yeah.
You know?
He's a sad dork with a lot of physical skills.
Absolutely. Another thing I like about this movie is this movie also has the Penguin and Catwoman. And they brought back a lot of the sexual tension that you're used to with Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be there in The Dark Knight Rises, but I didn't really feel it that much.
Oh no, I no.
I didn't really feel it that much. But in this movie, like, you could feel it, like, it's palpable. Like, you're just sitting there watching the movie, just going, just fuck already. Just like,
yeah. Yeah, this, like, it's really weird because it is kind of like, I am kind of watching it going like, yeah, this is the kind of Catwoman I was really hoping Halle Berry would be.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
You know,
I would agree.
You know,
it's got the sexiness of like an Eartha Kitt, but with like the actual like some of the more modern versions of Catwoman that have her be way more of like an anti-hero who's kind of like standing up for
it just gets a little tougher, you know, a little more grizzled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she doesn't ooze the sex that fucking Michelle Pfeiffer did, but
no,
that's not the character. That's not this character.
Michelle Pfeiffer was a very different Catwoman. That was the mousy girl who kind of snaps and becomes just complete psychotic femme fatale.
Yeah.
You know, she just goes nuts. Very different Catwoman.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz did a very good Catwoman.
Oh yeah, I would agree. I liked her Catwoman a lot better than Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. I think Michelle Pfeiffer's might still be my favorite because she's just so nuts.
That's a real hard act to top.
But this is a really good Catwoman, and the chemistry between her and Robert Pattinson as Batman, it's so palpable. Like you can't not get into it. You know?
Yeah. Like it's it's interesting because like every minute that Catwoman and Batman are in a scene together, and because they always film them, they get really super close.
Oh yeah.
And you could tell that Batman's a little fighting with himself because he's like, oh god damn it, I want to fuck this girl right now. I want to do this right now. like Bruce Wayne is not going to be able to get this level of ass.
Yeah,
but maybe Batman can. Gotta stay focused.
Absolutely. It brought that back, and I really like that. And of course, Penguin is played by Colin Farrell in some insanely good face makeup that makes him look unrecognizable, and performance-wise, basically doing his best like Robert De Niro impression.
Yeah, he's like playing a combination of like Robert De Niro and the original Burgess Meredith Penguin.
Yeah, like a combo of the two. And he does a really good job with it. It's a very grounded Penguin. It's not the more fantastical one. The door is open if they want to give him like an umbrella with a gun or something.
Yeah, I was saying if he shows up in a sequel, I at least want him to pull a gun out of an umbrella. But
there's a lot of really great like visual gags in this movie, and one of my favorites involves Penguin, where there's a point in which he actually waddles for reasons we'll talk about in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
Waddles like a penguin, and it was hilarious. That's the other thing. Despite this movie being really dark, it does have these nice humorous moments like spread throughout that bring levity when necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But don't.
It's really needed.
But it's not like a Marvel movie where it's like bordering on comedy. It's not.
No. This is a very serious movie with a couple of funny bits.
And it's not even like Batman Begins, where Batman Begins would like have these moments that would be humorous, but they'd be kind of like one-liners. There's a lot of visual humor in this movie.
Yeah.
More so than one-liners. There is funny dialogue, don't get me wrong. Like the whole Penguin sequence, like schooling them on like the Spanish language is hilarious.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well,
it's like most of the funny bits actually revolve around Penguin.
Yeah, well there's some funny bits with Penguin, but there's also like just these funny visual gags. Like this the way it was edited, I got the impression it was supposed to be funny, but like when like there's a person with a bomb attached to them and everyone's screaming or whatever, and then it just hard cuts to everyone like hiding in like a bunker and like this like one little robot.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And the little robot like moving up to the guy, and the guy's just sitting there with the bomb, and I'm like, god damn it. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of that, it's not dialogue, but it's humorous and it's funny and it's visual,
Yeah.
That's another thing I was really impressed with this movie. Like, Matt Reeves is probably one of the best visual storytellers to tell a Batman story.
Oh, dude, yeah, especially this one.
Yeah.
Where basically, because it is a mystery.
Oh, yeah.
There needs to be a lot of show don't tell, because if you just tell people, then they'll figure it out.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So there's a lot of little visual clues and a lot of little things, and you can piece together some of the mystery. There's some pieces that you don't have just by virtue of the fact that it's information you can't get until later in the movie.
Yeah, you don't get, there's some information you don't get till Batman gets it.
But there's a lot of stuff that like, they give you like a lot of stuff like really early on that's like background radiation in the movie. Like, like news reports happening on TVs and stuff that you think is just there to like set the tone and the stage, but it's actually
it's actually about the plot.
Yeah,
you just didn't realize it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that in this movie.
Yes. It's set between Halloween and New Year's, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is a point, there is a scene that takes place straight up right at the very beginning on Halloween. So So the rest of the movie takes place after that. So
yeah.
This movie gets into the systemic corruption of Gotham.
Oh yeah, This is ACAB Batman.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that like all the Batman movies have like levels of politics in them, especially like with like the Nolan movies. He went really hard into like the war on terrorism and all that stuff. But this movie felt like the most political Batman yet.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's just going into like the way good ideas get corrupted by the system, and the way the system gets co-opted by bad actors, and the way and the ins and outs of that is really messy and complicated throughout the movie. Really easy to follow, even though like it's a very convoluted plot. It's a lot easier to follow than say like a Bourne movie,
Oh yeah, yeah. Although there were some times I was sort of like, I wish I could see what was going on,
There's a couple times. It's not as bad as Batman Begins, though.
No.
Batman Begins had those action sequences where you couldn't tell what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
I never had that moment in this movie.
Yeah, I at least knew what was going on.
Yeah. But there's like cool little visual flourishes because Matt Reeves really likes to like attach cameras like to vehicles to film action sequences. So like instead of having like a camera that follows a motorcycle, it's a camera on the motorcycle, so you're getting that really trippy view where every movement the person's making is in line with the camera, but the background's all moving weird. It's the same effect as when you put a camera like right on someone's chest and have them walk around and you get that really trippy
it's
effect.
Stable on them, but everything else is
trippy.
Yeah.
Like people use that for drug sequences and like panic attacks in movies. He does that a lot for the action sequences in this, but attached to the vehicles, which is something he did in Let Me In and War of the Planet of the Apes. He did it with a tank at one point.
I remember that. I remember that shot. Yeah.
But he does a lot in this movie, and it actually creates this really interesting visual language that we haven't seen in a Batman movie yet. And it leads to like really cool moments, like the chase sequence with Penguin later on in the movie, where you have the camera attached to the hood of the car, looking at Penguin in the driver's seat with Batman in the background, and it's always looking this. It's like there's Jack. Yeah. The camera's always looking this way at him with Batman right behind him. For fucking Penguin. But whenever it cuts to Batman, it's always looking towards Penguin's car.
Right. So I also love the trick of like having the Penguin be in the front.
Yeah.
You know, but the Penguin be leading, basically he's the one being chased, obviously. Then again, how else would you do it? But what was really cool was realizing, wait, if we do that, that means all the explosions happen in the back. That means that there's a big bright light that creates the shadow of Batman.
Oh, absolutely. And it creates the silhouettes. It creates this really cool visual, like it felt like watching an action sequence, but it felt like a painting to me. You know?
You
know, but like even more than that, it like really emphasizes Penguin's fear of Batman. Which in turn increases your feelings towards intimidation of Batman, even though you just watched him go home, take off his makeup, look like fucking like he's a member of the Cure. And sit down and whine about his parents. Like
exactly.
You just watched him do that, and even still, it cuts to him chasing Penguin, and you're like, "Holy shit, he's terrifying."
Yeah,
you know, like
I liked the new Batmobile. One of the things I did notice about like the Batman stuff, is they all had the Bat motif, but they were muted by reality.
I can see that a little bit,
you know. And
his Batmobile reminded me a lot of the Adam West one.
But
like made a little grittier.
Oh yeah, well like instead of like
it's a hot rod.
Yeah, it's a hot rod. It's like made out of a Dodge Dart as opposed to a fucking or a Charger rather than a fucking Cadillac.
Yeah.
But like even his bat wings.
Oh yeah.
Like
the little glider he attaches.
Yeah. I found myself going, man, he looks so stupid and mad. Because you'll see it, and he does.
Oh yeah. But you can also tell it was the first time he probably used that thing.
Exactly.
Because he didn't seem like he knew what he was doing when he did it.
Yeah. This is Batman going like, okay, I have this thing.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out the whole. I haven't perfected the Batman shtick yet.
I do like having the Batarang on the chest though.
Oh no, I love that touch.
Where you can take it out and use it. I also just like the way Robert Pattinson looks as Batman. Like this Batman outfit just.
Oh, the outfit is great. Yeah.
Like Ben Affleck's Batman always looked big and intimidating, but I was far more terrified of this Batman for some reason. Like just the way he looked was just scarier.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's because how to put it? Robert Pattinson in The Mask. Here's the thing that's different about Robert Pattinson than all the other Batman. Mm-hmm. He's silent.
That's true, yeah.
He's very quiet.
He's a man of very few words as Batman.
Yeah, Batman almost never shouts, like swear to me. He never does that.
No, he that's the other thing is that he has like that subtle gravelness that he adds to his voice when he's Batman.
Yeah, but he's always whispering.
But it feels more like the way Keaton did it, and less the way Bale did it. So it never comes across quite as goofy as when Bale would get shouty like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of like that it's a very flawed Batman who's figuring things out because it just kind of humanizes him a little bit more.
Yeah.
because like Batman is usually the character that you present as like he's always perfect, right? He's like James Bond.
Yeah. This Batman is not perfect. No. This guy is far from his peak.
Yeah, absolutely. Which means you also get to watch him get like injured and shit, which was really cool. Watching him like take on some thugs and then like actually like have to like deal with the injury afterward and shit, like that was pretty cool. You know?
His body armor is not like total.
Yeah,
it's not magical. It's like real body armor, which is it'll keep him from dying, but he still like breaks ribs and has a fucking flesh wound.
Yeah. It's like it felt like Batman by way of John McClane in that way. You actually can see him get hurt. Well, John McClane in the early movies.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to a sequel to this where like it's Batman a little bit more perfected, and I want a redo of the scene of Batman flying, but this time it's actually like fucking bat wings.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I really dug this movie. We're probably gonna move on to the spoilers soon because I'm not sure what else there is to talk about at this point. But like,
it's really good.
It's got some really cool action sequences. Good. Like, I really love that one action sequence that's in total darkness and all you have is just the muzzle flashes.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like, it felt like what they were trying to do in Batman Begins, where they had that sequence where he was like pulling everyone from the shadows. But for the sequence with the muzzle flashes, you can see what's happening. Because
the Reeves kept the camera steady.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I liked about this movie.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, we got a new Batman theme.
Oh man, that Michael Giacchino theme. Oh man, it's not quite the same.
Well, it's not quite. No.
But I definitely like it. Became iconic to me way more than the Nolan themes did.
The Hans Zimmer themes. The Zimmerman one.
Because Hans Zimmer is all about Hans Zimmer is less about like it being a recognizable theme so much as it being like under the surface and you don't recognize it. That's kind of what he goes for.
Yeah, but for a hero movie that's not that great.
Exactly. And in this movie's case, like Michael Giacchino gives Batman this very unique theme that is not the Tim Burton theme, but is also way more recognizable than the Hans Zimmer theme.
Yeah, because it's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like Jaws.
Yes.
It's like a very simple like collection of notes repeated very slowly.
Yeah, so you could speed it up a little, or slow it down even farther. It's used as a leitmotif, which is how a Batman theme probably should be.
And it just signals the presence of Batman, and every time you feel it, like your heart sinks into your chest.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit, there he is.
There's the bat. It's a great score. No cats are harmed in this movie.
No.
There's Catwoman. She has a lot of cats because she's Catwoman. Mm-hmm. She's Selena Kyle. But there's never an injured cat in this movie.
No, it's a PG-13 movie. There's not going to be a dead animal.
No. No. There's a lot of brutal fucking murders in this because the Joker is the Riddler is a straight up serial killer in this movie.
Yeah.
In fact, I've seen some people say that like, oh, it's another terrorist. He's like, okay.
No, he's not terrorist.
There's some terrorist elements to what he does, but
not like post 9/11 Nolan stuff.
He way more was evoking the iconography of various old school serial killers as well as school shooters.
Yeah.
He was kind of way more in that mold.
Yeah, he's way more of the stochastic, what they call the lone wolf shooters.
Yeah. Like there are elements of terrorism in what he does, but that's because there's elements of terrorism in what all those people did.
Yeah. There is an element of the terror is the point.
Because fucking Zodiac Killer was like that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He terrorized the city intentionally and claimed he had these like higher motives and goals or whatever, and he probably didn't.
Oh, no. He's
Same thing with Son of Sam.
Oh, Son of Sam, definitely, yeah.
Son of Sam was also like that, and so he's more in that mold,
Yeah.
And let's be real, in the comics, all of Batman's villains are basically mental patients anyway, so there was already like a motif for every fucking Batman villain before. So.
Yeah, but dude, okay, need to say this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know how nice it is to see a fucking story, a movie with the Riddler, where the riddle has something to do.
Oh my God, they're actually
with the fucking mystery.
They're not only do they have something to do with the mystery, they're actually good riddles.
Yeah,
some of them are simple.
Yeah,
and some of them are a little bit more complex, and some of them have multiple possible answers, and narrowing down which one's the right one.
Yeah,
is part of
because the guy who the writer realized that the riddle in and of itself never provides the answer.
Yeah.
The riddle gives you the clue.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they did here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing is that there's riddles upon riddles. Like, the answer to one riddle is the cipher for another riddle. And it's like this complex web of stuff. So yeah, anyway, I recommend this movie. And let us move on to the spoilers.
Sorry.
I guess the only thing we're going to talk about spoiler-wise is just the actual plot, which actually does have a lot of spoilers in it.
Yes. This is a very, very... If you don't want to know what the actual plot is, you need to stop watching now. Mm-hmm. Watch the movie, come back, watch this part of the vlog. Because it is a mystery, there is a metric fuck ton of shit to spoil.
It's also a case where there's multiple plot threads that are seemingly unconnected, but are actually connected.
Yeah.
You know, you have the plot thread where you have Riddler, who has shown up in town and has started killing various officials within the town.
Yeah.
Starting with the mayor. And he's killing them one by one and has these vague slogans about no more lies and shit like that.
No more lies, renewal is a lie.
Yeah, and all that.
Things like that. They all mean shit, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have that plot. You have a secondary plot in which Catwoman... she has a girlfriend that works at this bar.
Yeah, she works at the Iceberg Lounge for the Penguin.
Yeah, for the Penguin, who in turn works for Carmine Falcone, who, for those of you who know comic books, Falcone is one of the famous mobsters, like the actual human characters that's not psychotic that Batman faces.
One of the gangsters, like Morricone, Falcone, and Trask, I think are the big normal gangsters.
There's a bunch of that. Actually, I think isn't Trask X-Men?
Is Trask X-Men?
I might be mixing up characters.
Yeah, I might be too.
Yeah.
The one that was really big in the animated series.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah. And so you have this plot with that, and Batman's caught in that because he's trying to figure out the connection between this girl and the mayor. You have this election that's taking place within the background of the movie, like it's being shown in all the TV screens, like in between things, you know. And it's like trying to figure out like what is the connection between Carmine Falcone and this girl? What is the connection between this girl and the mayor? What's the connection between this mayor and the Riddler? And what's the Riddler's connection between that and all these other little dominoes and all that stuff? And so it's this very interconnected weave. And here's what it ends up being. Like here's the entire fucking like conspiracy laid out. Thomas Wayne, it all comes back to Thomas Wayne, which you don't expect. You don't actually expect it's going to come back to Thomas Wayne because it feels like it's an adventure that has nothing to do with Batman.
Yeah. Like he's just investigating.
Except for the fact that the Riddler is fascinated with Batman.
Because he was always leaving these letters for the Batman.
He's kind of like a Batman fanboy.
Yeah.
Like, a Batman fanboy who's developed a parasocial relationship that he doesn't recognize is one-sided. Basically, Thomas Wayne, in the past, had made a run for mayor, and when he did this, he came up with this renewal plan, which was a plan to pour all this money in the system towards cleaning up the streets and helping the impoverished.
Like building hospitals,
orphanages, and anyone who was downtrodden or whatever. So he created this money fund called the Renewal in order to, fix up Gotham. He wanted to clean it up the way like Giuliani claimed he wanted to clean up Manhattan.
Right. Yeah.
Except Giuliani only really cleaned it up for rich people. But
he cleaned it up for rich people and mainly. And no, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they're the only people who benefited from that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so Thomas Wayne had planned to do this, but Thomas Wayne had these messed up connections because he was connected in some way to the Falcone family. Yeah, at some point has to turn to Falcone for help because his wife Martha Wayne spent a lot of time in Arkham. Yeah. And they didn't want this going out because it might kill his political career.
Yeah. Which I thought was like, I was like, is this the first time that's happened? Because that's really cool.
That's a really cool detail. The idea that Batman's mom wasn't entirely sane.
Yeah, it was in Arkham. Yeah.
Like she might have been a little bit nuts, which kind of like, you know.
Which means like maybe Bruce is a little bit nuts because clearly Batman's a little fucking nuts.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Exactly. And so he ends up in the pocket of fucking Carmoni. But this ends up leading to the actual mystery of like who killed the Waynes.
Who killed the Waynes and why?
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, well, wait, how does this connect to all this other things? Well, it turns out that this is all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected to everything.
Because when Thomas was killed, basically Falcone made a run for that money, that renewal money, and basically took over it and used it to basically take over the entire town and put his puppets all throughout everything throughout the city. And none of that money actually ended up helping poor people. It becomes this unofficial slush fund
for all the bribery money that goes between the city and the organized crime.
And while Thomas Wayne may have had a good idea with it and may have had his heart in the right place, at the end of the day,
his creation is why Gotham is a fucking hellhole.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's allowed Falcone to maintain his stranglehold on it, and if Falcone wasn't there, another mobster would just take his place.
Oh yeah, because like both he and Marconi were already fighting over it.
Yeah,
you know. Oh man, Stanley Tucci's Falcone was awesome.
No, that was John Turturro.
Oh, that was John Turturro. Yeah,
John Turturro.
The Turturro. Yeah, sorry. The Jesus, right?
Yeah. It was the Jesus. He was fucking intimidating as shit.
Yeah, which is great because like that actor usually isn't.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Well, like you compare it to the Falcone in Batman Begins, and he's way more memorable.
Oh yeah. I forgot that Falcone was in Batman Begins.
Briefly in it.
Yeah.
He's fucking great as it and whatever. And that's connected to Selina because Falcone turns out is Selina's dad. Because Falcone had a thing with sleeping with prostitutes in his own bar.
Yep. I also like the fact that Falcone is Penguin's boss.
Yes, 100%.
Like the Penguin's like his right-hand guy.
And this corruption runs throughout the entire city. Like 90% of the police force is on the take, and like,
the DA's office
is on the take. And the Riddler has figured this all out and has been systematically picking them off one by one and revealing the lies via info dumps throughout the city. And shining light on everything. And this is where you get like to the dichotomy between the Riddler and Batman in this. The Riddler is not the Joker. The Joker was an agent of chaos. He just wanted to, destroy as much as possible and cause as much.
Yeah, he doesn't really have much of a concrete goal.
Which is the point.
Yeah.
The point is it's just spread chaos. That was it. Terror.
Yeah, I'm just going to spread terror.
Yeah. Whereas the Riddler actually does see himself as a freedom fighter. He sees himself as a revolutionary.
Yeah, he is going to clean up the corruption of Gotham.
Exactly.
But to do that, he has to first destroy it.
He wants to drain the swamp.
He wants to drain... Oh! Okay. That... I didn't notice that. You're absolutely right. Because part of... Okay. So, the Riddler's plot and his scheme is insane in scope. Like, it starts out, you're like, oh, okay, we're just killing a bunch of people here. Oh, maybe he's gonna, so you think it's gonna be like kind of a personal thing. And then at like the 11th hour in the plot, he reveals that he's actually had this entire plan to flood Gotham.
Yep. And inspire a small selection of people to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah. To kill all the police and all the politicians in one night.
So it is kind of creating a weird little terror group.
Yeah.
But like, it's interesting because he sees himself as doing what Batman's doing.
Yeah.
To the point where he thinks and has convinced himself that Batman is going to agree with him.
Yeah.
That Batman's going to be okay with him, and that hey, we're in the same business. We're doing the same thing,
Yeah, exactly.
Not realizing that Batman just sees him as crazy, and he can't handle that.
Yeah.
He turns
Riddler
into
gets really, really upset.
Oh my God, Paul Dano is the Riddler.
He did great.
And I love this because here's what I love is that there's a small, minute, tiny piece to the puzzle that unlocks the bigger plan. But the reason why Batman misses this piece is because he is rich and privileged.
Yes.
He doesn't catch what the murder weapon was that was used in the first murder. And because he doesn't catch it, he doesn't catch what it's used for, what its purpose is, and what it might mean, and why Joker...
Why the Riddler would leave it.
Yeah, why Riddler would use it and leave it to begin with. And it actually takes him talking to like a blue collar fucking dude going like, oh yeah, that's used to, you pull carpets up with it. And it's just,
yeah. So the thing you use to tuck carpet under the floorboard.
And that's when he realizes there's something in the carpet of the apartment that the Riddler left. And, and he would never have pieced that together.
Realizing that tool is actually left for him.
Yeah.
So he could uncover the plan and help the Riddler.
Yeah, and it's such a workman's tool.
Yeah.
When would Bruce Wayne, even as Batman, need that tool?
Yeah, the man doesn't lay his own carpet.
Yeah, there's no fucking carpets in the fucking Batcave.
Yeah, exactly.
If he has a carpet problem in his manor, he probably
just has Alfred hire somebody,
So him being a privileged white guy, which is part of the plot of the point.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Point of the movie.
This is the one where Batman had to be a young white guy.
100%, because his privilege and where he comes from is vitally important in the story.
Yeah.
Right down to the confrontation between him and Catwoman, where he keeps saying like, well, you could just do this, you could just do that, and Catwoman's just like, you must have born rich because.
I don't know who you are, Batman, but boy, you were born rich.
Yeah.
So only a rich guy thinks that's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
To which you definitely go like, I'm sitting there going like, yeah, I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that,
And I kind of like that. I kind of liked watching Batman have his own privilege, called out.
And it's a different fucking reason why they're from two different worlds than she's a criminal and he's a vigilante.
Yeah. It's a much deeper, more class-based.
Yeah. Because it's one of those like, man, we kind of like each other, but god damn it, like she kind of likes him ultimately for his optimism.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he looks so pessimistic, he's ultimately a little optimistic.
They connect on some level, having both lost someone that they love, right?
Yeah.
But what did he lose? He lost his rich mayor/business person parents.
Right.
And she lost her prostitute girlfriend.
She lost her prostitute girlfriend. She lost her mother.
Yeah.
She lost
the system that his father and mother, to a certain extent, participated in.
Yes. There's definitely Catwoman comes from people who would have been the Wayne servants.
Here's the funny part. Everyone's saying that this is woke Batman. It actually kind of is, but in the actual definition of the word woke.
Well, yeah, what it first meant before it became a Republican talking point.
In the actual definition of the word woke, of being aware of the systems around you. That's basically what woke meant.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to mean.
It's being aware of the systems around you. And this movie is aware of the systems of Gotham. Now, it's still
to the point where it's vitally important to the plot.
Yeah. And now it's still a very comic booky, Batman-y version of that.
Oh yeah, shit blows up, dudes punch people.
Yeah, shit blows up, dudes punch people, and of course it's the mob.
Yeah.
In real life it's corporations and fucking like fucking oligarchs and shit, right?
Yeah.
But in the Batman world,
in the real world, Thomas Wayne would have just been a flat out criminal.
Exactly. Thomas Wayne would have been the tech billionaire guy who's owning the government.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In the real world. But in Batman comic book world, it's the mob. Okay, I can roll with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. The idea is still very much there, Yeah. It's the man.
Yeah. Turns out the real enemy of Batman was the Batman is the man.
And I gotta say, I actually really liked watching Batman having to struggle with being the man himself.
Oh, yeah.
And not wanting that responsibility, but being born with that silver spoon and not entirely being aware of how much privilege that's gained him. And it actually gave him
huge parts of the movie is him being confronted by the fact oh shit, I am like a millionaire.
Well, this is probably the most of an arc Batman has had in one of his own movies.
Agree.
Batman Begins, he has a pretty big arc going from, being not Batman to being Batman.
Yeah,
right?
but this is going from not Batman to Batman in a different way, because how to put it, you never felt that the Nolan Batman learned anything. He just got better.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you're like, oh no, this this Batman, he's got a ways to go.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true. It's true.
We're watching him struggle.
You know, and I dug that. I dug that.
Oh, it was a super good idea. It was super good.
So anyway,
and it also fucking did something that you usually don't see in a Batman movie.
Oh yeah.
Batman saving random people.
Oh my god, yeah. Like we do see Batman occasionally like actually tangibly save people in some of the other movies, but this movie like really made a meal out of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it reminded me more of like the Raimi Spider-Man movies where you see like Spider-Man go into a burning building and save people.
Yeah, rescue somebody's kid or something. Yeah, no, Batman does that shit.
But in this case, it's a flooded building and it's him like pulling a kid out of the wreckage and then helping the person who's running for mayor get out of there and like all the stuff.
What was the idea? It was the idea of like ultimately it is about a symbol of terror becoming a symbol of hope. Mm-hmm. That's the arc. That's it.
It's kind of the opposite of the arc in The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Where in The Dark Knight he kind of embraces being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
In this movie he kind of has to learn, no, actually I've got to be a symbol of good.
Yeah. He's got to be a hero.
Because as a symbol of fear, I strike fear in the heart of all my enemies, but I also strike fear in the heart of people that need me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to know, like, if the people need to know if Batman shows up, it's going to be cool.
It's a really cool and unique arc for a Batman movie.
Yeah, because we haven't really dealt with that in any Batman thing for decades.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We haven't made Batman like a hero in decades.
It's fucking great. Like he saves people in the other movies, but there's always like a step removed. Like him like saving like the boatloads of people in The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
He saves those people. He stops the Joker and all that stuff. But
but he didn't do it personally.
He's not actually grabbing the people and taking them off the boat, right?
He's not catching babies falling out of buildings.
In this, he actually does that.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus Christ, man! I didn't realize how rare it is to see Batman do that until like you made a big meal out of it in this one.
Yeah, because like it's definitely. Yeah, because the whole big thing at the end proves how much Batman cares about people, because once the flooding has happened, like Batman could have just let everyone in that stadium rot.
Yeah.
He really, really could have. He could have absolutely gone, well, that's way above my pay grade and I can't do shit about it. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't.
No.
And
he's fucking injured at that point too.
Oh yeah, he is like fucked.
Yeah. And so it's very inspiring to watch him do that. It's weird because it's almost like for in Man of Steel, Zack Snyder used a lot of like 9/11 imagery and stuff like that. But like watching Batman in this movie pull that kid out of that wreckage felt way more like the firemen in 9/11.
Well, because Batman is a way better hero to use in that scenario because he is vulnerable.
Yeah, 100%.
He's vulnerable, like we all were.
He's a bat, but he's also a man.
Yeah.
That's another thing I do want to commend this movie for. This movie has really awesome art design.
It's literally the most gothic Gotham has been
since the original Nolan, or not Burton films.
The Burton films, yeah.
Since the Burton films, which aren't the original film, the Burton films.
Yeah, the 80s ones. I know what you mean.
Since the Burton films, Gotham has not felt this gothic. It's interesting because this movie kind of has like a cross between the Chicago look of The Dark Knight, but it's like crossed with Burton's Gotham.
Yeah. And by Gothic, I mean like literal Gothic architecture, like arches,
with gargoyles and shit.
Yes. Flying buttresses and all this stuff. And you realize how much that adds to Batman, because like you might miss him because you're just used to seeing that gargoyle over there.
Yeah.
And you don't realize,
Absolutely. And also, the fucking Wayne Manor felt like Dracula's castle.
It did.
I loved it.
Holy shit.
I loved it. I'm like, oh God, I want to live there.
And Andy Serkis did a great job as Alfred.
Oh yeah, he was a great Alfred.
It's a very different Alfred, but I'm like, no, it's good enough.
Yeah,
it's good enough.
Works.
It's good enough.
He's up there. Like, honestly, I don't think there's been a bad Alfred.
No.
I've liked all the Alfreds.
the guy from the 80s movies who lasted until Batman and Robin. He was really good.
He was really good.
The OG from the Adam West.
Yeah.
The Adam West one, he was really good.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine was amazing.
He was fantastic. I even like Jeremy Irons in the Snyder films. You know.
Yeah.
He's not a bad Alfred.
Yeah. But so like that's a consistently well cast role.
Yep.
You know, I did think it was really funny that it was Andy Serkis, though.
I know. You don't expect
you're just sort of like, what?
You don't expect that, especially after seeing him as Claw in the fucking like Black Panther movies.
Yeah, because like Claw normally Andy Serkis is like like average talking dude. Claw was like gritty, nasty talking dude with a laser for an arm. This one he's actually putting on like the posh accent.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching him play Alfred. I'm sitting there going like, man,
you turn that New Zealand accent into a British accent somehow.
There's going to be some kids who are going to watch that and they're going to have their mind blown finding out that Alfred is Gollum.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Oh, one more thing I did want to bring up. The scene in Arkham Asylum where Batman confronts Riddler.
Ooh.
This
hands down top 10 Batman scenes in live action movies.
Yeah, like this scene is up there with the scene in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah.
Where you're just watching two people face off between bars and it's just like static shot, static reverse. And you're just watching the actors go.
It reminded me a lot of Seven. John Doe, when they finally meet John Doe, and even though John Doe is kind of presented, it's like, oh shit, John Doe is just this kind of like normal looking, kind of pathetic looking, vague, like generic looking guy who's not that scary looking when you get right down to him, but he's sitting there and he's talking softly, but he holds all the cards.
Yeah,
and that's the way he's playing the character, but with like a tinge of fanboy.
Yeah,
that's the way Paul Dano's playing the Riddler, but with a tinge of fanboy because he's like Batman is his hero. Like, I want to be Batman.
Yeah, he's trying to impress Batman.
This is a way better villain as fanboy of hero than Electro was. I thought.
Oh, definitely.
I thought this really
definitely, and I also like how a good confrontation like this. Who is ruling the scene changes hands several times.
Oh yeah, you're watching it go back and forth.
Yeah, you're watching it go back and forth, but it ultimately ends up that the Riddler gains the upper hand because there's one more thing Batman hasn't discovered.
I do like the moment though where Riddler kind of like loses it, and you're just like, oh wow, this guy's really pathetic. Like when he when he loses his composure for a moment, and like Batman has the upper hand for a brief moment, and he just starts like fucking like a child temper tantrum.
Yeah. He starts having a temper tantrum, like he's mentally breaking down.
Yeah, like he's not an adult. He is a fucking 10-year-old kid.
Yeah,
and like he's
like he never got over being like the 10-year-old kid the 10-year-old orphan who just plays puzzles all day.
Yep.
And oh god, the other thing I loved about the confrontation scene is the fact that each one thinks that they have the complete picture,
but they don't.
But only Batman realizes that he doesn't.
Yep. Because fucking Riddler never puts together that he's talking to Thomas Wayne. To Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but it looks like he should.
Because
it looks like he's figured it out.
Because there's a point in which it seems like he did, and then he reveals that he didn't actually figure that out. Yeah. He keeps saying Bruce Wayne, but actually Bruce Wayne's the person that got away.
Yeah, the reason he keeps saying Bruce Wayne when Batman's in the room is because he's still brooding over the one that got away.
Yeah, and that Bruce Wayne needs to die because Bruce Wayne was the golden orphan. He got everyone fucking in the city mourned for him when his parents died. Meanwhile, all the rest of us orphans,
just kind of got shit on.
Oh my god, that entire speech about you don't know what being an orphan's like, and he talks about like the cold winters and the babies dying in the cold, and the rats chewing on your fingers, and like Jesus.
Yeah, that was the do you hear the lambs Clarice moment?
Yeah, 100%. That scene definitely one of my favorite villain scenes in any Batman movie. Like it's up there with the pencil trick scene and fucking in the fucking or the scene in the original '89 Batman movie when Joker confronts the other crime bosses.
Oh, it's the hot tub.
Yeah,
the old town. Oh yeah, no, oh god, that will never not be my favorite scene.
That scene's amazing. But anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, The Batman. It's definitely my favorite Batman movie right now. It's definitely one of Jack's upper ones right now.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. New number two. Definitely new number two.
So we highly recommend it. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Well, you can find me on Counting Jack on Twitter, where you can get notifications of when I stream on my YouTube channel. Which is Planet Dracula, although I'm pretty sure if you just put Count Jackula in the search bar of YouTube, you'll probably find a video with my face.
True, yeah.
And, that'll tell you,
that's where you are.
That's where I am. You can also follow me on Instagram at Satanic Jackula. And I also put up notices when I stream there, and I'd really love to see it the streams because that's the primary thing that I do now. And right now I'm streaming Yakuza Like a Dragon, which as Josh told me, it's like, hey Jack, what? It's you, the video game.
Yep.
I'm like, really? And then there was a mini game about not falling asleep during a movie, and I was like, ah, shit. Fucking
true.
Fucking hell.
True.
Yeah, because I'm often very tired.
It's true.
What about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, then be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way.
Yeah.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehound, what do you think would be a good hashtag for this one? Like,
hashtag riddle me this.
Hashtag riddle me this.
Yeah. They actually say that.
Yeah.
They actually said it.
If you made it this far into the vlog, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag riddle me this. Work it into your comment however you please, and that way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows that you watched this vlog all the way through. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we got one more vlog to record in this recording session, so we're gonna go do that.
Yeah, didn't Matt Reeves say that he wanted to do Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, he was asked about like whether or not future movies made by him in the Batman universe would have the more fantastical villains of Batman's rogues gallery.
Yeah.
And he responded by saying that he thinks there's a really cool version of Mr. Freeze that could exist in his Batman universe.
I hope so, because I would totally fucking.
And I'm like, I want to see it.
Yeah. Even if it's just the same plot from the fucking animated show in live action, I'll still fucking watch it.
Sure.
You know.
Absolutely. There's actually a tease at the end of this movie for a potential sequel to this, and I'm curious where they're going to go with that. So.
Yeah, they kind of tease the Joker.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But it's like they're teasing a Joker-Riddler team-up.
Exactly.
Which is like one of those team-ups you see in comics all the time, but like...
Yeah, but what's it going to be, and who's gonna play Joker?
The actor sounded so familiar, but he didn't have a credit in the movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's credited as unnamed Arkham patient.
Yeah, but he looks so familiar. He sounded so familiar.
Yeah. It is one of those like, wait, I know this voice.
Yeah,
who the fuck is this?
I had that moment. Oh well. Peace out.
Great movie.